and welcome to Season of War. Tonight we have an exciting game of Age of Sigmar. Big matchup here tonight. We put this one to a vote with our premium members.
Yeah.
Because Rich, you're testing out what you think is going to be your LVO list with your Seraphon.
Yeah, it's pretty much what the list that I ran against the Stormcast, and I'm in between this and Thunder Lizards. Like, I could go on for days and forever about what's the benefits of both. But
pros and cons.
I know this one really well. I've been playing Dracos for a while with the Sallies, and so yeah, it's just another game, another practice probably up.
Yeah, for sure. And the premium members again did vote for me to play Lumineth against you tonight.
Yeah.
They wanted me to play the filthiest list I could. I was going to take 50 Sentinels and Techless,
Yeah.
but it left me really light on screens and bodies for Wardens.
Yeah.
I would have 2 units of 10, which just isn't enough to screen 50 Sentinels and Techless.
Yeah.
So instead I took 30 Wardens, 30 Sentinels still, but then 2 Ballistas, which are a great amount of output as well in shooting. They're awesome. And a different tool set. Also, just way cheaper in points. So let me do this and get the extra unit of Wardens.
It's funny, the comments, like, everyone's just like, throw them the dirtiest stuff. Like, make sure you get some filthy stuff. Like, people wanted to see me struggle against this. So, but I love that because it's very high competitive stuff. So.
Yeah, we'll see. Obviously, we had that good game with Stormcast.
Yeah.
So, if you're not a premium member, consider supporting us through the premium membership. That's the best way to support the channel. Make this all. Our members make the whole channel survive. It's the only reason we're able to do this. But that Stormcast game we mentioned is a premium member one.
Yeah.
As of today, we're filming on the day it went live. If you're not a member, I encourage you to join and check that out. It's probably one of our favorite battle reports we've ever done. As there's so many good ones in the premium membership, you get instant access to the entire backlog. So if you join, there's probably 30 plus. 20 plus AOS 3 battle reports there for you to binge. So.
Yeah, I do. It's nice to do while painting or just anything else. But
But Ridge, you want to jump in and take us through the mission?
So yeah, we're playing Marking Territory. So this one is very interesting because it is the one where if you control all of them, you essentially win. So there are battle tactics, but it's just kind of for a check mark.
Could get a minor win if nobody controls all the objectives.
Exactly. So essentially at the top of 3, so we play it after your turn in 3, if you hold all the objectives, you win. The interesting thing is the second player, who goes second, gets to burn one. So usually it makes it so it doesn't end there.
Yes.
But, there's a lot of...
Interesting factor and element because actually I played this against Cruel Boys on the channel and with Danny, and that was hugely impactful, being able to burn it nearly dictated the game. Yeah,
and keep the game going, which, so it is interesting. So, sometimes this is impacts not as often as some of the others, but can be. Other than that, grand strategies again for tiebreaker, but that's pretty much it.
Yep. Nice. Well, jumping into lists, I'm playing Zytrek again today. It just made sense in this build. There wasn't really any benefits of Sire, any of the others. I guess the Aether Quartz, but here, +1 cast is huge and Unbind. Actually really good against Seraphon, so totally didn't do that on purpose, but it definitely is huge. Because the Unbind is big and all of it, right? But again, I'm running the 30 Wardens, 3 10s, just so I can spread out some screens. I have 30 Sentinels in one big block, and then 2 Ballistas, with Techless being my only hero, so my general. It's definitely interesting. I actually had a list like this before. Again, I said I could have done it with 50 Sentinels. I actually had a list with Techless and 60 Sentinels. Never ended up running it at any point. But this will be a good test. Again, way more shooting than even just 30 Sentinels. So.
And it helps just the bodies.
More bodies, exactly. And having I don't think the little heroes necessarily going to be super missed. They're useful, but. So is firepower.
Yep, exactly.
But that's it. All in Zytrek, and I was a 2-drop because I had Battle Regiment and then 1 Ballista outside of the Battle Regiment, so...
Didn't fit all fit in?
Actually, it came up big because, as we'll get into, we tied on drops.
Yeah, we're both 2. So Jordan plays a lot of armies that are 1-drops, as most of you know, which we've talked about many times, just, Battle Regiment we can talk about forever, but...
Yes. How much we hate it, and the fact that... you just have to do it. Like, it's just too good not to, in many, if your army can.
With Stormcast and Lumineth, armies that can do that, exactly. Yeah. So I'm 2-drop as well, but so I'm running the same list as if you watch the Stormcast Eternals. The only difference is I have not gone with the Hunters and the Warlord for the extra artifact. I did go for the double battle regiment. Just so good into some other lists that are, say, 8, Iron Jaws, Daughters of Cain if they're not a 1-drop. It's very good for situations like that. The one thing is, against all the 1-drops, the other list is better, obviously, because then you can have the Hand of Glory spell, have the Arcane Tome, things like that. So
if you can't fit in 1 battle regiment, just take 2.
Just take 2, exactly. So the list is the Slan, General, Arcane Might, Godbeast Pendant, Skink Priest, Asholith Bear, and then 10 Skinks, 5 Guard, 5 Guard, 3 times 2 units of Sallies, and 2 Dragons. Yep. So, yeah, it's...
and, again, a ton of it in the sky right now.
Yeah, pretty much everything. There is 1 unit of Sallies on the board, just so I can buff them. But other than that, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Nice. Yeah. And, again, getting into it, both being 2 drops. Ridge won the roll-off.
Yes.
So this is like the first time I haven't been in 1-drop and made you go first.
Yeah,
so you don't have a choice here.
Had a decision because you did deploy in such a way, Jordan, which most players will do, is deploy in a way that you can get away first.
Yeah.
So yeah, in this situation, I just can't let you go first. So I'm going to go first, and I'm going to see how much damage I can do against this. With just you have a lot of shooting, and we'll see.
Sounds good. So we'll be jumping into Seraphon turn 1.
Sounds good.
The Seraphon battle tactic is aggressive expansion. The Slan and Teclis both use heroic leadership. The Seraphon generate 5 conjuration points. The active asterism is the Hunter's Steed. The Slan casts Mystic Shield but is unbound. The Slan casts Stellar Tempest, but is unbound. The Skink Priest uses Herald of the Old Ones on the Salamanders. The Skink Priest uses the Starstone Staff on the Salamanders. The Realm Shaper's Power Unleashed deals 6 mortal wounds in total. The Slan uses Gift from the Heavens on the Salamanders. The Stormdrake Guard used Draconic Onslaught to move in the hero phase. The Stormdrake Guard deal 5 mortal wounds to the Wardens. The Salamanders deal 6 damage to the Wardens. The Wardens use All Out Defense and their Aether Quartz for heightened reflexes. The Salamanders use All Out Attack and kill the Ballista and 6 Wardens. The Salamanders deal 2 damage to the Wardens. The Ballista unleashes Hell with its blinding bolts, dealing 4 damage and making the Stormdrake -1 to hit. The Stormdrake Guard Stomp, finishing off the Wardens. The Wardens use their Moonfire Flask, dealing 3 mortal wounds to the Stormdrake Guard. The Wardens use all out defense and their Aether Quartz for heightened reflexes, but the Stormdrake Guard still finish them off. The Ballista deals 1 damage to the Stormdrake Guard. The Wardens use Inspiring Presence.
Okay, so cool. So back from the Seraphon turn 1.
Yep.
Yeah, the plan here was pretty much just when you're playing Lumineth, you know, especially with Life Swarm or Rally, those types of things, not pegging little bits of damage, you know, to one big unit.
Go for 1 unit, take it out.
Make sure you kill the units. That's something I learned very early on with Lumineth, playing Jordan many times. As well, the other thing was Battle Shock. So with this list, you just have Teclis. So you don't have the Cathalar to auto pass or bounce, so you can only use Inspiring Presence on 1 unit. So you want to kind of hit on multiple units. So in this case, I did actually end up finishing both of them off. I just didn't want to leave a couple models, and the next thing you know, they come back. But other than that, yeah, this is what this list does. As we know, just everything drops down, does as much damage as I can. I did go for the +1 to charge, but the dragons just kind of finished off the 2 models with the stomp, and then went in over there.
All in on the Wardens though, because
I
did a little cheeky move with the
notable.
Ballista of using its Blinding Bolt or whatever, once per game ability when it shoots, to make them -1 hit, in addition to Shining Company that's -2. Now,
I didn't save.
It meant, exactly. You weren't here making use of it, but if it would have denied the ability to use an all-out attack or monstrous, Titanic Duel or something like that.
And in this situation, I just stood with the 4s and 3s, but that did make me allocate all 15 of my all attacks. I went fully into the Wardens.
And just killed them.
The 6 damage, so.
5 guys, so.
Yeah, and the big decision here as well, I guess I didn't mention it, going first against Lumineth, you know, once you get Protection of Teclis up, you're +2 on all your, well, he's just cast 4 on 10, so I wanted to make sure I kill some models, and obviously, yes, you still have Teclis and 30 Sentinels, which can do a lot of damage. But I have a lot of different targets now, and some summoning, you know, there's a lot of other things. And the dragons are amazing in these types of lists, just to have a unit that can go out and just absorb essentially a bunch of shooting and absorb a bunch of stuff. So
tie stuff up, exactly, we were just talking about it. It's so strong in Seraphon. Especially Dracos being able to use them like this is a piece you don't have in your army. And I did though with the Unleash Hell and the
almost killed one.
The mortal wounds from the
Flask
Warden.
Did 3,
So down to 1, 8 damage, so not too bad. So.
And I failed Mystic Shield, which you're +2.
Well,
so
I unbound it. I auto-unbound Mystic Shield.
Auto-unbound Mystic Shield, and then I went for Stellar Tempest, which you would have saw, but I think I rolled an 8, and then you rolled a 9 +2, so. It's because Zytrek is still obviously really good for that.
Really good anti-magic. But that pretty much is where we are at right now, and we'll just be jumping into Lumineth turn 1.
Sounds good.
The Lumineth battle tactic is Bring It Down. Teclis uses their finest hour, and the Slan fails heroic leadership. The Sentinels cast Power of Hysh on themselves. Teclis cast Emerald Life Swarm, returning 3 Wardens. Teclis cast Transporting Vortex on the Sentinels. Teclis cast Laminate Light on the Salamanders. Teclis cast Total Eclipse. The Emerald Life Swarm returns 1 Warden. Teclis deals 3 damage to the Stormdrake Guard. The Sentinels kill the Salamanders. Teclis and the Stormdrake Guard both use Titanic Duel. Teclis uses All-Out Attack and kills the Stormdrake Guard. The Wardens deal 11 damage to the Salamanders. One Sally left with 1 wound. Come on! The Wardens use their Aether Quartz for heightened reflexes, but the Salamander kills them all. Whoa.
All right, Lumineth, turn 1. Yeah, smacked back pretty good.
Yeah.
Really close to being in the situation I was in, really close to being a perfect turn.
Yep.
1 wound off, in fact. I left 1 model on 1 wound.
Yep, you carled up.
And that model, being a salamander, killed my entire unit, because that's what they do. Yeah, they definitely are enough points.
Yeah.
No, I'm just teasing. But yeah, big things on this. I just had to try to choose where to put which units.
Yeah.
I threw my Sentinels and teleported them over there, because if I lose priority, you couldn't put both units of Sallies, or that forced you to use your teleport if you want to put any damage over there.
And you're able to clear them out so you didn't have to shoot the dragons as well.
Exactly. So worked, great for a number of reasons. I did do Finest Hour with Teclis because he just isn't reliable enough with his output.
For sure.
There, and I think I just barely did it, or I was,
I just failed the
2 or 3 damage over.
And 5 ups. I didn't have Mystic Shield, so
exactly.
3s to 5 ups.
Close enough.
Yep.
The big thing here was obviously casting Total Eclipse.
Yes.
Bridge only had 1 CP, didn't get the heroic action, meaning if I get Total Eclipse off, he can't use any command abilities.
And I waited.
Couldn't redeploy,
Yep.
couldn't rally, couldn't Unleash Hell.
Yep.
Against with the Salamanders, so that let me go into them.
Yeah, I've played this matchup so many times, and how many times, Jordan, you've cast 10 on 10s in the Slan.
You win priority.
Yeah.
You get 1, maybe 2 command abilities if you're lucky.
I made a critical error, which I right away after looking back, I looked at it, is using the CP for +1 to save in shooting, and then flight. I just always, like I was telling Jordan, I always forget about it. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to remember this time and I'm going to use it. So I used it, this situation.
With Lumineth, it's all
mortal.
worthwhile.
Yeah, so I would have had another CP. So I could have stayed at 2 and at least done a redeploy of Unleash Hell.
Yeah.
So,
it would have, and in that case, Teclis and Lumineth having obviously a ton of flexibility, would have forced me to do the spell that denied a specific unit from using command abilities. So I would have done that on those guys so it could still charge them, but it would have freed you up for the following turns.
Yes, which would have also been interesting because if you didn't do that, because he survived on 1 wound, that 1 CP could have kept that single salamander alive.
Yeah.
So he hit back, did 8 damage, 2 3s and a 2, so it's D3 damage, so it's very swingy. So he wrecked 8 of the wardens, but then on a 4+ he's running because I'm -7 to bravery. So on a 4+ he would have stuck around. I possibly could have rallied another Sally back. But so many fun little interactions like that, right? And Total Eclipse is, everyone knows, is just so annoying. So I saved,
great.
You did your 3rd spell, and I was like, no, okay, let it go. And then obviously I knew Total Eclipse was coming. But here.
Yeah, and like you said, here, obviously at a pivotal point now, I've taken out 3 of your 4 big pieces. I still have arguably my 2 best.
30 Sentinels in Teclis can do a lot of work. So by far, you're still in a good
But you still have teleporting tricks. You have the board presence right now.
I could get 5 CCPing and get 1 more Sally. So can do damage still on both sides. So it's definitely interesting still on a
jump into priority.
Yep.
That's a 2.
That's a 4.
All right.
Yeah, this is pretty self-explanatory.
Turn 2, you take it. Turn 3, you give it away.
Exactly.
But we'll jump into Seraphon turn 2.
Sounds good.
The Seraphon battle tactic is Conquer. The Slan and Teclis both fail heroic leadership. The Seraphon generate 1 command point and 5 conjuration points. The Seraphon use the Hunter's Steed. Teclis unbinds the Emerald Life Swarm. The Skink Priest uses Herald of the Old Ones on the Salamanders. The Skink Priest uses the Starstone Staff on the Salamanders. The Realm Shaper's Power Unleashed deals 1 mortal wound to Teclis. The Slan casts Comet's Call but is unbound. The Slan casts Mystic Shield on the Salamanders. This land casts Stellar Tempest but is unbound. The Seraphon use their conjuration points to summon a salamander. The Skink Priest teleports using Lords of Space and Time. Teclis uses all its defense and the Aether Quartz for heightened reflexes. The Salamanders use Inspired Triumph and deal 5 damage to Teclis. The Salamanders deal 3 damage to Teclis. The Skink Priests deal 1 damage to Teclis. The Skinks deal 2 damage to the Sentinels. Teclis unleashes Hell, but deals no damage. Teclis uses Stomp, dealing 3 mortal wounds to the Salamanders. Teclis uses all its defense, and the Salamanders deal no damage. Teclis deals 2 damage to the Salamanders.
Okay, so back from Seraphon turn 2.
Obviously, priority is big here.
Very, very big. Yeah. I think both ways for sure.
100%.
Yeah.
We have like so much of the time we've seen the Stormcast game, other games. Turn 2 priority. Well, it doesn't necessarily end the game. It's such a huge advantage. It feels like the whole edition is about turn 2 priority right now.
100% agree, especially with all the battle regiments
with the shooting armies and
even worse when you give it away and you get a double back. Here it was normal turn priority, but still, being in position to kind of do. So it was in between, obviously going for the 30 block and going for Teclis. So I could have summoned and teleported them and whittled them down to a bunch, but Teclis is just such a good piece right now. He does so much for you that I kind of just did a bit of math and I was like, I definitely could take him down because you did Finest Hour in the previous turn. I couldn't have asked for more. The only thing I wanted was to make that 8-inch charge to get him in. I think he had, four left? And I made the 8, exactly an 8, so I was like, it's all, everything's
you did 9 damage in shooting between the different units, so.
Yeah, those 2 and him shooting, even like popping one off. The Slan did 1 wound, but I got the 4 up, so that's, you know what I mean, can't complain about that. You smartly, again, unbound my Comet with Dice Roll, which was huge, so then you could auto-unbind Stellar Tempest. Massive. But yeah, the moral of the story was not being able to take him down, but also you did do a cheeky Unleash Hell at -1.
Well,
But
it's always interesting, right? You can spike if you get lucky here and there.
With the gods.
And 2s and 2s, 1 attack, round 3. But I missed it, so.
Yeah, roll the 2.
And it could have been interesting, that combined with a Stomp, combined with an if he lives.
Because you did 3 damage on the Stomp, so yeah, you could have.
Could have done lucky on a Sally, but that's unlikely. But if I had done, let's say, even 3-4 more damage, then now after my attacks, the Sally would be dead.
Exactly. So either way, the 2 blue Sallies let me down today. That would have been massive. So that probably would have been game. If I took Teclis down there, 30 Sentinels in a Ballista without a teleport, on this side of the board, would have been huge. But we have a game for sure. So Teclis also kind of whiffed back, so he didn't take them down.
Yeah, not too much.
But you got a lot of power in other places. Everything else is just kind of positioned and moved out. So yeah.
Yeah. With that, we'll be jumping into Lumineth Realmlords turn 2.
Let's see.
The Lumineth battle tactic is Monstrous Takeover. Teclis uses Heroic Leadership, and the Astrolith Bearer uses their Finest Hour. The Sentinels cast Power of Hysh but are unbound. Teclis casts Emerald Lightsworm, healing himself for 3. Teclis casts Storm of Searing White Light but is unbound. Teclis casts Laminate Light on the Salamanders. Teclis casts Total Eclipse. The Emerald Lightsworm heals 1 wound to Teclis. The Sentinels kill the Salamanders. The Salamanders use all of defense, and the Ballista deals 3 damage. Teclis shoots, but deals no damage.
Alright, so Lumineth turn 2. Similar to the first one, I left 1 Salamander alive that I didn't want to.
Yep.
But still not the worst position. I've killed 6 out of 6 starting Salamanders, so it's just summoning now that's keeping me annoyed.
Yep.
Monstrous Takeover was the easy battle tactic. I was already in combat there, so did that.
Yep.
There wasn't a ton. Actually, the big thing I went for was Storm of Searing Light with Teclis, because there was 3 to 4 targets that I wanted to be able to hit.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on the spells that I got, I might have been able to do that. But with your reroll, you unbound Power of Hysh, which hugely made it difficult for me to split.
Yep.
But I also didn't get Storm of Searing White Light off, which even chipping 2 or 3 wounds off of, particularly the 2 units of Sally's in your Astrolith Bearer.
Could have shot him with Teclis. Or
Yeah, exactly. Chipped him down. The dream would have been taking out all 3.
Yep.
Didn't do that. Also didn't, left 1 Salamander on the board, so that's not great.
So much of playing Lumineth is spell priority.
And target
again,
priority, and who do you put the power, the Lambent Light on,
Yep.
and then do any of your spells get unbound, because that just throws a wrench in everything.
And even with Lambent Light, it was you probably would kill the unit without Lambent Light.
Yeah.
But getting Power of Hysh, exactly, I think you rolled a 7 or an 8, but that's when you see that, get rid of that, obviously, and then I wasn't sure. I already knew Eclipse was coming, so I just let that one go. But I would have. I didn't. When you cast Life Swarm, I was thinking only. My brain went to Sentinels so much because you often see it with that, and I just didn't even think of Teclis. So I rolled the double 6/4 to unbind. So Searing White Light, which again is good that I rolled that. But if I would have not got Life Swarm, if I get the turn here, I possibly could have took Teclis down.
Yep.
So. Good, Emerald Lightstorm is good with, heroes as well, not just units like this.
Yep.
So, yeah.
But that's pretty much it. And I do just want to add objectives, so I hold 2. So I'm not in the scariest position. Should you do win priority and give it away, or burn one,
Yeah.
It's still an interesting mission as well to consider. So we can just jump into priority.
Yeah, and then have to think about it probably.
That's a 2 again.
I rolled a 5, so I'm gonna have to take a quick second here. Okay, cool, so took some measurements and a little bit of thinking, but as mobile as Teclis is, other than that, you're not super mobile, with, this guy having to stay back there. So I'm actually going to give you the turn and burn
this objective.
Your home objective,
Yeah, no, smart, because I have a chance to take one of these objectives. I could, if I put enough pressure on, take one. Obviously this one's super weak, but I can't take all 3 of these at this point. Mm-hmm. So we're just,
I think if I go and you double me, it's game over.
Yeah. So with that, we'll jump into Lumineth turn 3.
Sounds good.
The Lumineth battle tactic is aggressive expansion. Teclis uses Heroic Recovery, healing 2 wounds, and the Slan uses Heroic Leadership. The Slan dispels the Emerald Lightsworm. Teclis casts Storm of Searing White Light, but is unbound. Teclis casts Laminate Light on the Astrolith Bearer. Teclis casts Total Eclipse, but is unbound. Teclis casts Speed of Hish on himself. The Sentinels cast Power of Hish. The Ballista kills the Salamander. Teclis deals 2 damage to the Astrolith Bearers. The Sentinels kill the Astrolith Bear and deal 2 damage to the Skinks. The Skink Priest uses all-out defense. Teclis uses all-out attack and kills the Skink Priest.
All right, Lumineth, turn 3, Ridge gave me the priority. Smart decision in terms of, again, way less risk. In my mind, I like that decision because if you had have given it to me, I would have burned that one. And if your Sally doesn't kill Teclis,
which he's very good chance he's not going to.
Or I win the double, I pretty much am nearly guaranteed to win,
yeah.
I felt. So I think that was a smart decision and forced me to kind of be a little adventurous. Now I did kill the Astrolith, finish off the Sally, and then Speed of Hish, Teclis over here. Taking the point doesn't matter, besides my battle tactic of aggressive expansion, which we just need to store those for the minor
because it might
win or
come
loss.
down to that, yep.
Or the tiebreaker. And yeah, just went in, Teclis, finish off the Stink Priest. And then it was Bade killing the Astrolith. I've been wanting to kill him for a couple turns, just to reduce your summoning points.
Yep.
So slow down what you're getting from that. And now you have your Slan, who's got, a couple chip wounds, and your Source Guard, though you do have 8 skinks still.
Yeah, it came down to the point where in this battle plan, it's like if you can make it so that you can go to secondaries and you just bunker down on a point, that's pretty much my only play now.
Yep.
So because I couldn't kill Teclis, him and the 30 Sentinels are two such strong hammers still.
Yep.
So he's able to just, go around and be a crazy menace. So now I'm just kind of playing for that. I can do Ferocious Advance. I don't know. I'm already rolling through the other tactics, so I don't know. We'll see, but
cool.
Yeah, I guess that's gonna
Pretty
be
much it. Yeah, so
turn.
we can jump into Seraphon, turn 3.
Let's go.
The Seraphon battle tactic is Ferocious Advance. The Slan fails Heroic Leadership, and Teclis heals 1 wound from Heroic Recovery. The Seraphon generate 2 command points and 5 conjuration points. The active asterism is the Sage's Staff on the Slan. The Slan uses Gift from the Heavens. The Slan casts Comet's Call, but is unbound. The Slan casts Mystic Shield, but is unbound. The Skinks teleport using Lords of Space and Time.
All right, so pretty uninteresting turn, but for this battle plan, this is kind of what happens near the end of the game. So the plan here is, got my Ferocious Advance. There's not many other tactics I can do left, so now I have to kind of try to think of I can deny.
Also setting up for the future.
Also setting up for Savage Spearhead in turn 4 if I win Prio. If I don't, you're probably going to be able to eliminate my units, but at this point, that's the play I have. And then just bunker down. One thing worth noting, which comes up a lot, no one knows the garrison rules. I feel like when you're playing games, not a lot of people realize the garrison rules. So it is within 6 when you're popping out, but wholly within 6 when you're popping back. So you can get some distance when you pop out within 6, but then you can't pop back in because you're not wholly.
And you were when you were looking at your battle tactic, you were thinking of going back in, but did Savage Spearhead, so you didn't end
Ferocious
up.
Advance.
So
I had to run. So exactly. So I've set up that now I can pop those back in just for the -1 hit and +1 save, which might come up.
Yes.
So yes, Skinks over there. Let's see. It's just going to come to Prio.
Yeah, priority.
Yeah.
So going into turn 4.
Yep.
That's a 3 this time.
The 1.
Nice. Yeah, so I'll take the turn here. You're not doing a lot, so I actually was really considering giving it away. But because I can even just go kill your skinks.
You know that's going to deny Savage Spearhead.
Deny Savage Spearhead, and again, that being the tiebreaker here,
Yeah.
if I can't get your home objective, I at least can
kill the unit so I can't score battle
exactly,
tactics.
go for the minor.
Yep.
So we'll just jump into Lumineth, turn 4.
Sounds good.
The Lumineth battle tactic is Broken Ranks. Teclis heals 2 wounds with Heroic Recovery, and the Slan fails Heroic Leadership. Teclis casts Storm of Searing White Light, dealing 11 mortal wounds to the Saurus Guard units. Teclis casts Laminate Light, but is unbound. Teclis casts Speed of Hish, but is unbound. Teclis casts Total Eclipse. The Sentinels cast Power of Hish, but are unbound. The Sentinels deal 1 damage to the Slan and finish off the Saurus Guard. Teclis shoots but deals no damage. Teclis uses Forge of Victory and makes his charge. Teclis uses Stomp, dealing 3 mortal wounds to the Skinks. Teclis uses All-Out Attack and finishes off the Skinks.
Alrighty, so Lumineth, turn 4, taking the turn here. It did let me get Broken Ranks, just barely killing those skinks. I wasn't in range to even shoot with my Ballista, so I didn't shoot with Teclis, throwing all my shooting over here into the Slan, taking out 8 out of the 10 Saurus Guard, dealing 2 wounds to the Slan, so slowly working it down now.
Yep.
And have that chance round 5 to deny your grand strategy.
Yeah.
Not that, I mean, that's just a dead tiebreaker, but
yeah.
Really it's going to have a chance to put pressure on your objective. And
well, it could have been big here. They so close to Skinks versus surviving, and also you rolled a 6, so you could only get it to a 7-inch charge because I unbound Speed of Hish.
Yeah.
So it was a 7-inch charge. You rolled a 6
into a 9.
Into a 9. So you made the charge, and then I was
and just killed the Skinks. Literally, I think 1 damage over, or like very close.
Yeah.
To,
I made one of the 2 that went through. I made one of the
so
saves.
Yeah, just barely getting them down, but I do get them done, which means that's huge. That not only scores me my battle tactic, which is the tiebreaker, but denies Ridge one of the few ones
I
that
needed to be able to get
for you.
This turn, which I could have got with Savage Spearhead.
Yeah.
So many small interactions just happened.
You can potentially still get it on turn 5.
Yes.
If you teleport now or
but
run.
I would need to deny you as well.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's also a thing like points for tiebreakers or battle points depending on how tournament scoring.
It might come up, depending on how.
It might be worth doing just to get more points in a loss or something too.
Yeah.
But here, again, no scoring, so I did my battle tactic, the check mark, and we'll go into Seraphon turn 4.
Yeah, let's go.
The Seraphon battle tactic is Monstrous Takeover. The Slan use Heroic Leadership, and Teclis uses Heroic Recovery, healing 3 wounds. The Seraphon generate 1 command point and 2 conjuration points. The active asterism is a Sage's Staff on the Slan. The Slan casts Comet's Call, but is unbound. The Slan casts the Stellar Tempest, dealing 5 mortal wounds to the Sentinels. The Slan casts Mystic Shield on himself. The Saurus Guard teleports using Lords of Space and Time. The Seraphon spends 6 conjuration points to summon 10 Skinks.
Okay, so another uninteresting turn that cost me 6 summoning points. So at this point, I'm pretty much playing for the double so that I could possibly
force the tie or the minor loss.
Exactly.
Yeah. As opposed to a major loss.
As opposed to you being able to just get on to this point and then it just being over. So, summoned 10 skinks here and teleported my source over there, so if I win, I can get Savage Spearhead at least the last turn. I think I did Monstrous Takeover. One of them this turn was just irrelevant, just so that, and I'm still only gonna have 4. So if you get Volley Battle Tactics, you get the minor. Yeah, exactly. I pulled the Slan just outside of 30, so that if I do get the turn, I did get a Stellar Tempest off this turn and did 5 mortals.
So I owe you a Battle Shock.
Yeah, or I guess, or Bravery.
I lose 3 guys.
Oh, you don't have CP?
No.
Oh,
well,
shit.
I do, but actually this probably pulls me in range of Savage Spearhead.
Couldn't you auto 6 them anyways? Don't they have a chance?
It's Shining Company.
Oh.
And you know what? Actually, because I'm not measuring it, I'm gonna do this. So I break Shining Company so I can run with my Battle Shock.
Makes sense. Yep, that's a play.
Those little things, just so I can get that the secondary, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, cool. So that's gonna be it. Yeah, there's no scoring, so it's like I'm.
Yeah, and you have just this guy hiding over here for again another attempt at Savage Spearhead.
Exactly.
You chose Monstrous Takeover this round, just knowing you couldn't complete it, so you just wasted 1. So you do have to deny me to again try and force the tie.
Exactly, which is gonna be tough with that little play.
Yeah.
It's things like that, and you roll a 6.
You win ties.
I do.
You need a 6 here.
Oh, what am I gonna roll? Can I roll the D8? Let's go, baby. The boys. The boys die!
Okay. So you win ties. So you did it. That's big, actually, because I would have had a chance to go for the win here.
Yeah. Cool. So I'm going to go.
Major win, yeah. So you're jumping on the turn.
Yep.
Going into Seraphon, turn 5.
Alrighty.
The Seraphon battle tactic is Savage Spearhead. The Slan and Teclis both use Heroic Leadership. The Seraphon generate 2 command points and 4 conjuration points. The active asterism is the Sage's Staff on the Slan. The Slan casts Comet's Call, dealing 4 mortal wounds in total. The Slan casts the Stellar Tempest, dealing 6 mortal wounds to the Sentinels. The Saurus Guard teleports using Lords of Space and Time. The Sentinels use Inspiring Presence.
Okay, so back from Seraphon turn. Got some spells off. Stellar Tempest did some damage with Comet.
A little late, but
yeah, and honestly,
doesn't hurt. I mean, it makes it harder for me to kill your stuff.
Yeah, but honestly, after all of that, the only kind of little play I think I possibly could have had is if I didn't do all that damage and I tried to pin and do like 10 skinks in here and get in the way, and then you not be able to pile in and get in there. But I still think with 2 pile-ins and me killing, you would have got in.
The problem was you still had to do your
Savage Spearhead.
Savage Spearhead, so you had to save your teleport for that.
Yes. Yeah, you're right. So yeah, never mind.
But if you had had a unit to pin or someone
to do something.
Yeah.
I could have popped the Slan out and made a big charge. There's a few tiny little plays, but either way, then you could retreat out.
Yeah.
There's so many things because it came
down
to...
It would be very difficult. Very difficult to...
It came down to me knowing Jordan could only do either Conquer on my point or Savage Spearhead.
Those are the two most likely.
Those are the 2 that you're going to do. So you also can auto-cast onto 12 to get a teleport.
Yeah.
And you can...
auto-cast Speed of
Fish. So you're going to be outside of 24 here. So I just pretty much make the charge bigger. You could go for the major, go for that. Way riskier play, or you go for the minor, you cast the teleport. I'll leave that up to you. You can make which play you want.
Yeah, so,
I score my Savage Spearhead.
Yeah, so you have 4 battle tactics. I've already stored 4.
Yes.
So going now, that's the end of Seraphon turn 5.
Mm-hmm.
Going into bottom of round 5, Lumineth turn.
Mm-hmm.
As you said, I could just auto cast teleport, go over there for Savage Spearhead.
Take the coward's way out.
But that's not the fun play. Because even at a tournament,
you don't want the minor.
I have a chance at a major win.
Yeah.
So that would be for a minor win. I have a chance at a major win if I can take Ridge's objective.
Yeah.
I'm obviously going to take that chance. So we're going to jump into Lumineth turn 5.
Sounds good.
The Lumineth battle tactic is Conquer. Teclis fails heroic leadership, and the Slann uses their finest hour. The Sentinels rally, returning 4 models. The Sentinels fail to cast Power of Hysh. Teclis casts Speed of Hysh as his only spell. The Sentinels deal 4 damage to the Skinks. Teclis deals 2 damage to the Skinks. The Skinks use all-out defense, but Teclis uses all-out attack and finishes them off.
Alrighty, there we go. One for the big play.
It's sealed.
Yeah, I wasn't too worried about it. It's only like 10 stinks to kill.
Yeah.
The Slann, he's 2 models, so as long as I got on there. Yeah, here the game plan, rally, get as much damage output as I can into them. Between the Sentinels, killed 4, Teclis killed 2 in shooting, or he killed 2 in shooting.
Yep.
And then I still had to make the charge.
Yeah, which was a
Needed
6.
6, but I made it with a 9, didn't even have to reroll. Stomped for 3 mortal wounds.
Yeah.
And then did 9 damage in combat. Ridge was gonna pull his stinks and just like call it there, so I already took the objective. But I wanted to kill every single one of those stinks.
Teclis hates skinks because of our previous
if
bat.
If you know the last time we played this matchup, Teclis had to kill every single stink. So this is very important.
One skink in power numbers stood up to him and laughed at him, and he didn't take the point.
It was horrible.
But he was not part of these 10. He was part of the pink rocked ones.
They're
but
still all dead.
Yeah, he's in my case. I knew I should have put him here.
Yeah, but yeah, in the end, I went for Conquer. Again,
auto casting spells is just like fuck.
Was just the one at that key moment. I just need that one thing.
Yeah.
There are other spells that are helpful or good, but
I mean that's
range of all of them.
huge in a game of dice when anything can happen. Just being able to just say
that one
nope,
moment you just need that one key spell off. Yeah, that came up big here.
Yeah.
Got me 18 or 24 inches across the board.
Yeah.
Into that 6-inch charge, and here got Lumineth the win.
Yeah, and even then, as I moved back here, it was like playing for the minor.
You were just
I could have probably summoned them and put them in a way. Now that I'm looking at it, that would you have been able to move and then charge over top of me?
Yeah, I think because I land here or I land here, you know what I mean? I can land.
Just mean if I did some type of zone like screen there, I'm just thinking.
I also would have been outside 3, charged 9. Might have been able to with a charge and a pile in.
Yeah,
it's very hard.
I know it's one of those things though for me too. I should have maybe measured that a bit.
I just went 36 inches between my
24-9 and the pile in 3.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so very hard to deny.
Yeah.
I did rally, get 4 Sentinels back, so that was helpful after you took a big chunk out of them on your turn.
Yep.
Then didn't go for Savage, but here, yeah, man, that was a big. I feel like that was a big comeback for Lumineth. Yeah. Well, it's
not comeback, but
that's how it feels though. Always against.
When you don't have as many models, and you lose like all your.
Specifically because of how strong your turn 1 is.
Yeah.
Now, you're very squishy with Seraphon. So after that turn 1, so even after because that short range, thank God they have short range. Because if you were hitting you could have wiped out my Sentinels turn 1 or Teclis turn 1.
Yeah, or stayed out of range. Yeah.
But still great power. Yeah, it's just being able to hit you back. I had again my 2 most powerful pieces still on the board.
Yep.
And they just took it home.
And I knew that. I knew that going in. But that's usually with Lumineth. If you can't take out their bodies and then position yourself in such a way, just not taking him down. Average, he should be dead. But obviously you can't play with not killing Teclis going for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, he's good.
Survived on 4 wounds against 2 Sallies who did no damage. That was huge.
Yes, exactly.
Yep.
But that's the way dice are. Sallies can do 1 billion damage. 1 can do 8 damage and kill 8 wardens, and 1 and 2 on 2s and 2s with my triumph or whatever can not do any.
Yep.
So that's just that's dice, which makes this game amazing.
Yep. And big moments here. That's exactly that. It makes for exciting stories and crazy games. But yeah.
The Ballista's not doing the most, but still just the threat of them there too.
You know what, he
had
was
more
chipping a
wounds.
bunch. Yeah, it's like, it's not insane damage.
No.
You think it's only 125 in points. So
Yeah.
he's doing chip damage though. He has presence in the range and the cute ability to make something -1 a hit.
Yeah, that came up a bit and made me fully allocate all the dragon's attacks.
Yeah, and you just barely killed the wardens, so
Yeah.
meant you couldn't split into the sentinels and chip a few more of them down or whatever. Allowed me also to then do my battle shot immunity over here.
Yep.
Risk the battle shot. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, man, it's Teclis is he's just so good.
So
Especially
strong.
you've played him so much, so
Yeah.
I feel like if you have a lot of experience with him, there's a lot you can do with him.
Yeah.
He's just a piece that auto casting, like just so many different, all the spell lore is just so much utility.
Yeah.
Using it when you can, and just trying to stay away from things. It's like you can just get everywhere. And this was interesting with the battle plan too. This one often is quite interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think otherwise we can wrap things up.
Yeah.
Hope you guys enjoyed that match. Again, I want to say a big thank you to all our premium members for all the support, making this whole channel possible to run. So thank you guys so much. If you do want to help support the channel as well, hit the join button below the video. You get instant access to a huge backlog of
Bunch of
videos.
reports now,
a new battle report every week, specifically for premium members. Comes out on Thursdays.
Yep.
Access to our private Discord.
The Discord now,
and,
yeah.
more perks like emojis and icons and other stuff. But really, it's just the thanks and appreciation of us here at Season of War. So with that, we'll say a big thank you and see you guys soon in another battle report.
Have a good week, everyone.
There you go, babe. All finito, honey bun.